is a regular for my stream.
Oh, I think
There
I
he
know who
is.
that is.
Okay, great. So Macintutor is here. Let's see who else is here. Okay, Macintutor. Okay, great. Yes. Yeah, so Macintutor, I saw your message, and here I'll kind of post that there. It's here. So we're going to be starting in about a few minutes. We're just kind of just doing a little bit of housekeeping here. So welcome to the broadcast. So I'm getting ready to actually at the moment I'm sending out a quick little message to Facebook group. Let's see about the presentation coming up. So and go ahead and for anybody who's attending right now, if you want to invite your friends, I'm going to go ahead and for your convenience, I'm going to put to attend, join, and then I'm going to put the link here for your convenience to send out to all your Facebook friends to twitch.tv/Chromeillusion. Jeff Foster is here and ready to go. And I'm going to put that in there. Okay, error occurred. All right. So it didn't occur because it actually showed up. It actually showed up properly. So I don't know why it's giving me an error over here on StreamYard. Okay, cool. Glad I'm in the right place. Of course you're in the right place, silly.
How come I can't reply to any of these? It's not letting me.
Well, you know what? You should be able to.
Yeah, it doesn't give me a.
You
I
know
can
what?
do private chat, but I
That's right.
can't do.
You can do private chat. I see. Hi, Thomas. Right. So
Oh,
you have
that
to do
was
it.
just me to you. So
That's right. So
yeah.
so basically, you have to do it through Twitch directly.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll
So the
just.
link, so the link that I just gave them, I'm gonna give you just in case you want to use it.
Yeah, that's all right. I got enough to manage here. I've got a million things
And,
open on
and
my
you don't
screen.
and you don't need to respond this way because you have the
That's right.
microphone. They can
I
hear and
do. I
see.
can say, "Hey, Thomas, how you doing, man?"
Right. You're right.
I'm glad to see him here. So that's cool. That's
Essence
great.
is here. Hey, good morning, Essence. They're all jumping in. Macintutor's laughing. Cool. Good to see everybody. And we know who Macintutor is. Your favorite fan. Okay, cool. Let's see. I'm looking at a bunch of these. So it is let's see, 70 degrees Fahrenheit in Moscow, Idaho. Well, that's good for you guys. Because it's normally freezing out there in the wintertime. Or near the winter month.
We're gonna be 90 here in the Sierras. So
Well, I was just in Death Valley was last week or so
oh wow, yeah.
for my Death Valley workshop, and
Yeah.
it was a little warm. Normally, it's not as hot as at that time, but
Good time to go.
the weekend we went, it decided to be about 100 degrees. It
wasn't 120, so you know.
It could have been worse, right? So it popped up to 100 degrees the week that we went to do our workshop. The week after, it popped back down to like 85, 90. Cool. Welcome. Oh man. All right, that numbers are popping up here. They're all coming in. I'm sending out little announcements to Facebook right now. And I'm going to actually take that link and give it to my Facebook people to come on and jump on live. All right. Okay, great. All right, we're going to put in Photoshop Cafe. We got to get Colin involved. Photoshop and photography. Isn't Facebook wonderful? The News Pro. All right, and we're going to get started here in about another couple minutes, everybody. Hang in there. IB Wizard's here. He says hello. I think IB Wizard from San Diego. Everybody, type in where you're from and what the weather's like in your area. I would love to see know where everybody's chiming in from. I'm going to also invite the AI groups too, so the AI generative images and also the AI digital art people. I think they would be interested in the presentation. AI artificial intelligence. Cool. All right. And then I will just go ahead and get that posted and up and running. Also post to the Photoshop users group. All right, so we should be see the numbers really kick up here a little bit. Uh, auto. All right, first time chat. Cool. I have not looked outside yet. Did you? You must have just woken up. And Auto Matters, welcome. First time chat. Welcome to the Digital Creativity with Stephen Burns. And today is the Photoshop Users Group meeting featuring Jeff Foster. He says, thank you. I would love to hear from where everybody is from. And I'll continue to promote when I get Jeff Foster on. So, okay. Wow, welcome everybody. This is great. It's been a while since we've had Jeff Foster at the Photoshop Users Group. And I think, actually, when is the last time you were at our group? The last time you were at our group, you were in person, right? In San Diego?
No, I don't think I've ever been in person there. I think I've only been virtual. I can't remember when that was. I may have been living in Hercules at the time or something. I don't know. It's been a while.
It's been a while. So gosh, there's been this crazy overreaction, in my opinion, to AI. I've always saw it as something as a tool, and I guess for both you and I, we've been doing compositing and creative photographic compositing or painting and stuff like that forever. So AI was just a fancy way of pulling stuff together in some very interesting way. So it to me, and I would assume to you, it just didn't really seem that much threatening.
Well, I I have been in this industry since the 80s, and my first stab at art generation at all was I was trained for mechanical drafting, but I had also had and I'm talking about tables and pens and all that kind of stuff. Lord of the AI, my God. That's funny. No, but it's just I started off with drafting and airbrush illustration and all of that. And I kind of got into doing commercial illustration and photo retouching. I was studying under Joseph Kennedy, who was a really well-known retoucher back in the 70s and 80s. I mean, he did actually earlier than that. He did some of the early Marilyn Monroe stuff for posters, Lamborghini, all the famous stuff for Pennzoil and Lamborghini and all that. He did all that retouching and made it look real. So I was studying under him in the early 80s, like 82, 83. So I was studying that kind of thing. So I was doing album covers and all kinds of artwork with airbrush. And then I slowly started getting less calls for album cover art from the record companies because they started doing just simple strip work with using a Mac SE. And, they're just going, we're just going to use this photo and put this type on it and put it on a red background. And that's what we're going to do. So they saved, $1,000 for not having an illustration done for an album cover or color separations, because they could just do their own stuff. I was going, oh, okay. And then I was also doing ad work and whatnot, and I would have to go and pay a typesetter. Here's what I need it to say. I need this font. I need this point size. I need this. And they'd print out a sheet of type for me that I would then cut out, wax it up, paste it up on a board, and do all of that. And so that's how things were done, like mid 80s, going into the later 80s. And then it's like, okay, well, screw that. Maybe I should get a Mac I was like, oh, I don't have the money to do that. So I'd go to Kinko's, who used to rent out Mac SEs by the hour. It was like $15 an hour, something like that. And you got so many laser prints. So I said, okay, well, I've got a stat camera at home. I'm going to just print everything out on this laser writer for, like 4 times the size, and then take the stat camera, scale it down, and then I can, cut and paste, do my own thing. So that was my first real computer graphics work, was doing that. And I was still sending out for color separations and all of that. And so then it just kind of evolved. In around 1990 or so, I got a Mac Quadra, and and then I was like, okay. And I saw it self-taught because nobody knew how to do this stuff. But then I was getting into problems. Yeah, I was working on movie posters and stuff in LA at a big color house, and they were using Letraset Color Studio instead of Photoshop. And I asked them why. I said, Photoshop's actually a little quicker at doing some of this work and whatnot. They're going, yeah, but here's the problem. That, try to save an 80 megabyte file. It'd take you 40 minutes to save it. You do this work on it, no layers or anything, of course, but you'd save it, and it would take 40 minutes to save. They say, well, watch this. And they'd sit there and they'd hit the power button on the Mac, and it'd just go poof, and they'd reboot it. And, maybe it takes 5-6 minutes for that cycle to reboot, come back up. Then they just pull the temp file out of the trash can and back up, and they would open up the temp file that Color Studio saved. I was like, oh, so I got looking, well, Photoshop saves a temp file when you do that too, but you couldn't open it. So then I contact Adobe. I said, what gives? Color Studio you can. How come I can't open this temp file? How come we can't use it? How do I open it? And I got their engineers going, oh God, what do we do? What do we do? So that was when I first got invited to the beta program for Photoshop. And that was Photoshop. I think by then it was like Photoshop 2 or 2.5. And from there on, I started getting involved with books and all that crazy crap like everybody else here. So that was kind of my thing, but I had to learn to adapt. But then by adapting, I also because I didn't know what I didn't know. So I pushed the boundaries and then asked the developers of the software, why the hell doesn't this work? This intuitively, I would think if I do this plus that, it will give me this.
Right.
Well, it didn't, until later. And they go, oh, well, maybe we should make it do that. So, I kind of went into that mindset of it. And so with AI, I'm seeing the exact same thing. I'm asking developers questions. Well, how come it doesn't do this? Why? I want it to do this. Why doesn't it do that? And some of the developers are going, well, maybe we should make it do that. Or, oh, it's coming up soon. The difference with AI, though, is you'll see it come up in a few weeks versus a couple of revs, years down the line. I mean, there's still things in After Effects I've been asking for 20 years that still aren't embedded, but that's Adobe. Right. But anyway, but it's pretty wild how fast this train is rolling. I mean, this is May. This is May, and I started getting involved with it more heavily last fall in some of the early betas, actually alphas of some of the software. But some AI I've been using for quite a while. And of course, there are some AI that's in the background of some of the tools we use already that you don't really think of it as being AI. Because right now, everybody thinks AI is ChatGPT,
right?
And, Stable Diffusion, Midjourney. I mean, that's pretty much people's view of what AI is, and it's going to take over the world. If you want to share my screen, share my screen. Yeah,
now,
that's what I'm talking about.
Right. Adobe's been using AI for a while, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So, and they've been exploring it and whatnot for years, and that's great, But, with any new technology, there's going to be resistance. And I love this comic. I don't know the origin. I don't know who did this. And if I would, I'd surely give him credit, because this is exactly what our society tends to do. It happened with desktop publishing. The print world was dead. It's happened, like I said, with my own personal experience with illustration and retouching. And now it's happening with AI again. And, there's ethical things involved, like, well, where is AI getting its source material? Well, they're basically stealing it off the web, for the image generation. And yeah, they are. There's no doubt about it. There's been way too much proof saying, well, this is like this person's image and they use that. And so, so that's why right now there's all this legal stuff going on, and it's like, who owns what? If AI generates it, who owns it, etc. And it's like, at this point, I'm just kind of like, well, who cares? Because I don't really own anything that I put out publicly anyway. It's an image. I mean, who owns an ad that was designed with stock photography that somebody modified and manipulated a bunch and maybe composited, boobs on a chicken or something? I don't know, but there's all these things out there that people have been doing, manipulating physically, even back in the 80s when I was airbrushing on stuff. I mean, I was manipulating photos in a lot of cases. I was putting backgrounds behind things, and I was painting things onto photographic backgrounds, and then you reshoot it, and then you got a photo negative. Well, this is no different than what we've already been doing. It's just that it's quicker, and to me, I find it less of a threat and more of a idea generator. I mean, I'm an old guy. My brain is kind of getting coagulated and gelatinous, and it's not quite as fluid as it used to be. So I even have a hard time coming up with concepts for asking AI to create something crazy for me. I have to really kind of, maybe take a little can of butter and open my mind and then go. But, I'm not afraid of it by any means. And, I find it more of a creative, window to open things up, So anyway, to me, I just wanted to hit the elephant in the room first before we got started, because I know it's a really hot topic and we could go for 3 hours having a big roundtable discussion on it. And many have. I mean, I've done some roundtable discussions on Pro Video, who I write for, Pro Video Coalition. And we've had some discussions there, because there is the fear of the unknown is always there. So I just wanted to hit everything off with that. And like, yeah, Thomas says, Luddites will always be with us. That's very true. But yeah, everything has its pros and cons. And I like to really focus on what can I do with it next, because by the time somebody does something stupid with it or bad with it, I'm already done with that. I mean, I'm already kind of bored with the image generation, quite frankly, because I went at it hard, early on. And I do 90% of it. I do right here on my iPhone. I go into Discord app on my iPhone. I'm kind of trying to get sleepy, and I'll sit there, I'll think of the most, obscure things I can think of. And I, punch it in, see what develops. And I go, oh, that's kind of cool. So, so anyway, so that's image generation. And content, as content creators, we're always looking to generate images, but I use it professionally. I use it more for image enhancement, or even I found some really good text to speech. I'm going to share a bunch of stuff with you guys today. So, but I use it in conjunction with what I already do manually. So, but the first segment here, I want to kind of get into the whole image generation thing, because everybody's on that. And I kind of want to get that out there and get done with it, and then move on to the real meat, which I think is more in image enhancement tools. And there's, again, anybody that's a Photoshop user will know that there's a million ways to tackle something. And so, I'm pretty old school that way. So
we have a question from Drew Kavanaugh. Of course, we know that's Mr. Kavanaugh.
Yep.
What do you think of Adobe Firefly? I know it's not as advanced as Midjourney, but it is fun. I wouldn't say it's not necessarily as advanced as Midjourney, but go ahead. What are your thoughts?
Well, look at your screen. This is the first thing I'm going to, because I knew we're Adobe folks here, right? So we want to dig into the Adobe stuff first. And so I've had some fun with the Firefly beta, and it really isn't as advanced as Midjourney. I don't think it's supposed to be. But the nice thing about it is I really like the way that they've approached this whole thing, because number one, they're only resourcing the licensable content that's in the Adobe stock library. I mean, they're not going out on the web and stealing stuff from everybody like OpenAI is, and just grabbing whatever. I mean, everything in there. And they tell us, at least what I've heard, they tell us that source images get some kind of credits in the long run. And I don't know how they're going to monetize that or whatever. So don't even ask me. That's an Adobe question. But at least they're using content from their own stock libraries. And I think ethically that's great. And I'm going to show you a couple examples here too, that I was kind of surprised by, versus like using Midjourney for one, but also like what's the other one I don't use much at all? But anyway, there's some of them out that you have to tell it you want a specific type of person or whatever. But this will come up with some really great examples. But anyway, this is a screenshot of one that I tried out, and I kept playing with it more and more. But they do give you a lot of control on how to or what it is you want as a result. Like in this case here, I typed this in a few times until I got something. I've played around it. I wanted it photographic. I didn't actually select a specific style, just popular styles. I didn't use any of those, but I did select vibrant color, dramatic lighting, and a blurry background. Gives me that depth of field. So with that said, I got a really nice, fun, creative, colorful image. And yeah, I would probably prefer that it didn't, the depth of field didn't go to the head so much, things like that. There's some things in there that I wasn't quite as excited about. So those are, it'd be nice to have some layer controls. And I'm hoping to see in future versions here that it's built in as a side panel in Photoshop, and then you can pull stuff out in layers and do your own thing with it, manipulate. I really think that's where it's going to be. But it's still, I thought it was fun. It's beautiful. And it's pretty good with some of its clarity. This one here, let me see I said, young child enjoying their spaghetti at the dinner table. That was my prompt. And of course, this dude here, I could totally relate to, that's me. And, this one here, he's actually, loves his orange juice. So that was that prompt. So, you can have a lot of fun with this stuff, and it does a pretty darn good job. As with most AI, you're going to have some funky fingers. The eyes may not be quite right, things like that. But that's when I'll take it out. If I really want to use an image, I'll take it out somewhere else and I'll run it through another AI to get a little better face enhancement sometimes. And I know there's face enhancements, some built in. We'll cover all of that kind of stuff too here in a bit. I'm just going through some Firefly examples here. This one kind of excited me. Now, my day gig, I work at a biotech company. I work at Bio-Rad, and they're in the Bay Area. And I manage all the visual imaging groups for marketing. And so I've been playing with prompts for like almost a year now, trying to get something that will resemble, okay, we want some scientists in a lab, stock photo type, images. And they're getting better and better and better. Although, the scientists are going to say, well, I would never see this rack of tubes like that in the lab. He wouldn't wear that type of mask. We don't have beakers in the bio lab. That's more like for physics and, and things like that. And it's like, what the heck is she holding here? I don't even know. This one here, I mean, there's little detail problems in there that you still have to Photoshop the crap out of, to fix it. But I was just like, I just was asking for different age groups, and it came up with all these different multicultural people. I didn't get a whole bunch of 30-year-old white guys. If you try to do this on you have to specify, be very specific. If you're in Stable Diffusion or Midjourney, it doesn't automatically select a range of real people. And these people have more real faces. They don't all look like they, have TikTok channels, So I was very pleased with that. And I thought that was pretty cool. And then somebody did hit me to the point that they are, that they have actually written that into the code, that they are trying to be diverse that way, which is good. So, yeah, of course, we can keep going crazy with some of these. I'm going to get rid of some of these tabs here so I can just scroll through. So, yeah, dog racing. Everybody loves a good dog race. So, of course, I prompted a little more into that. Dogs racing, wearing helmets, driving race cars. So, you have to be a little more specific. I love these guys. And again, for creative, I mean, yeah, it's not realistic. I mean, what's really going on here? Why is there, this dog's racing the car? I love that. I thought that was pretty cool. 2 guys in this one. This one's in the back seat. It's just, I don't know, it's just fun. I just really have a lot of fun, creative fun. And text. Let's talk about the text generator in Firefly as well. It's kind of fun. It's a little cheesy, but it's fun. And, if anybody remembers any of my old books, let's see, that would be from the mid-90s, Photoshop WebMagic series. I actually did this stuff manually, how to make text out of textures and things like that, and then animate them and all that. That was fun. But I have an affinity for food, and mixing it anywhere I can with my imagery is always fun. But just going in and specifying some different textures that you want. This is, again, working in science. I wanted to just take the word genomes, and I just typed in, give me genomes. And it gave me these examples right here. So it's pretty interesting. I mean, if you zoom in, you can kind of see, oh, there's some really crazy organisms in there. The nice thing is yeah, you can render it with transparency. So you can get transparency and pull these out, put them over whatever your background is or whatever. But I think it would be fun to be able to go in and manipulate them a little more. It'd be nice to have a little more controls. And I'm actually excited for the future because I can see where this could go. In the 90s, I was using Pixar Typistry. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but it was 3D type generator. You just type it in, pick your fonts or install fonts, create fonts your own, and render 3D textures on it. And so this kind of takes me back to that a little bit too, other than it's only 2-dimensional, but it has a 3D texturing and appeal to it. But I can see where this can go in the future if we can incorporate this into true 3D modeling with mats and textures and everything. I think this could be pretty cool. So I'm excited for the future. I really am. And this is this to me is just a little tiny window into where Adobe at least is going. And I'm happy to see them get on board in a very powerful way. I am going to, that was my other dog's eating. So what I wanted to do is actually do a little live thing here. This is Firefly, and I just kind of trying to get the lady yelling at a cat thing going here, right? So it doesn't always give you what you want. And so, you type stuff in and it gives you something. So I want to throw this out to somebody out there. Give me a prompt that you want to see Firefly generate for you. And I'm going to keep it kind of in the photographic realm. So somebody give me something to bring up here so we can, this is pretty casual. We're all just sitting here in a group. So I kind of like to get the feedback from people as well. And the questions I love. So somebody give me something that or Steve, just yell out something you want me to put in here, and
Oh, I don't know.
I'll
Let's
put
see.
it in.
Let's see what the attendees say. I'm going to put,
Let's
okay,
see.
face made of 100. Okay, here we go. There. So can you see it?
Yeah, let me see. Well, let me copy and paste it. Yeah, here we go.
Yes.
Copy and paste. Okay, and I'm going to say vibrant color. Let's go to, let's see, this would be dramatic lighting, and let's go to a narrow depth of field. Why not? Okay, let's hit generate, see what this gives us. So the nice thing is this stuff's really fast. I mean, it comes up in just like in less than a minute, you get like 4 examples, and here we go.
That's cool.
So that's beautiful, and that, you could go, oh, that's cool. I wonder if I could do this or this or this to it. And, that's the beauty of this. I mean, I wouldn't consider any of these finished art, but they definitely do conjure up some things that I might want to try on my own. Maybe I use portions of it along with a face, or pull out some of the butterflies. To me, I always look at how can I make this my own, or how can I make it better or different or whatever. And
now,
so
can you specify the resolution, the end resolution, or the final resolution?
At this point, I don't think so. I think you just get whatever's there. You can get you can get aspect ratios. I think that when you save it out in Firefly, I think it's a locked resolution at this point because it's again, it's beta, and so none of these. I mean, when you go to save them, they that one gave us 2 faces. This one's kind of cool. I like that it offset it a little bit. So you can rate the result. If I download it, let's see what it gives me. It creates that your content creation, because you can't use this commercially yet. So it's right now it's just for demo purposes and to play with. So it's always going to watermark it for you. So now at this point, yeah,
we have another one that someone would like you to try if you like.
Generate butterflies in the face separately in PS and combine them. Yeah, that would, oh yeah, this one here. This is another one from Andrew. Let me copy and paste this one too. Copy. I cancel that because I don't need to save it. Let's try this. Paste. I'll try this too. It's just amazing to me how fast this is too. And I mean, for anybody who makes composites, yeah, look at this. Talk about fantasy. This is great if you're a like game developer or something, or you just want to make some really cool fantasy composites.
You're right. What this is really coming down to is that those who are going to be successful with this are those who really know their stuff.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
I look at something as a 3D artist, I can look at this and build this in 3D.
Right. Well, that's the thing. I mean, this is great for storyboard artists. Are you kidding me? Could you imagine? Yeah. It's like, I'm going to find this scene. Okay, that's a great scene. And now let's maybe put some characters in there. Or you just do it for a mood board or something like that for film development or game development or animation or whatever. It's great for mood boarding, things like that. It's a great idea generator to me. So I'm excited for where this can go. And I think, again, having things done in layers will be really helpful in the future as Adobe opens this up and envelops it more into their tools. So I think it's just going to be really cool for that kind of thing. So and while we're on the generation of environments, I'm going to show you. Let me go to here. I'm going to show you another tool that's out right now, and it's from Blockade Labs. It's called Skybox AI. And this allows you to create really cool environments in a virtual space here.
Is this an AI generated thing?
Yes, it's all AI generated. Down
What was-
here, here's
what
the
was it?
prompt right down here. It's
All
called Skybox, and it's from Blockade Labs. Here's my prompt: robots mining on a Martian landscape.
All right, do me a favor, copy and paste the address so I can send it to everybody right now.
Okay, let me do this.
And just put it into the private chat, and I'll take care of it.
Okay, cool. It's beta too. You may have to sign up for it. So again, here's I've done a bunch of different things in this. So let's see. Okay, so I just put in a realistic, and I'm going to change this. It gives you different genres. So I'm just going to go up here to realistic. And I put realistic hiking through the mountains with running stream and waterfalls. So let's see what this comes up with. And it's not perfect. It's not great, but to me, it's another great thing for storyboarding, idea generating. It gets you thinking. It's like, wow, that'd be cool to make something like that in 3D and animate it, or make a scene with that or whatever. So to me, it's a great partner for. It's like a creative director, a creative partner. So this one's just about done generating. And again, less than a minute. We have this scene, and this is what it generated. Wow, now this is crazy. Look what it did here. It gave me this crazy, wow, this like antenna or some kind of light beam thing from this cabin or watchtower. I didn't even ask for that. But here's our streams, our waterfalls. This kind of reminds me of the early days of using Bryce, but yeah, it's a little more immersive. It's kind of like Bryce and Mist put together.
Okay.
So
do generate one with stars with a nebula or something. Like if I want to build starships, I want a star scene or a galaxy
land
scene.
bridge above our heads. Okay. Dang, I'm kind of gorking on this one here. So
that's nice.
Yeah, that's kind of fun. Anyway, this is really cool. So okay, you wanted like a
star system with nebula gases. And then we have another one here from one of the members. I'll post it up in just a little bit.
Okay, so do we want to go like sci-fi with that, or what do you want? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Let's see what it does.
You can see the little progress bar. This thing's kicking. It's just boop 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 boop. Another one's less than a minute. So this would be great if you had a brainstorming session with your creative team virtually. You could sit here and just go, okay, let's try that. And everybody's doing it. And they go, hey, what about this? What about this? I mean, to me, this is just exciting. It's fun. It's exciting. It's like, I don't consider any of this finished art, but I see it as great exploration and creativity generating stuff. That's choking a little bit here at the end. It's trying to get your nebula, you know.
Yeah.
This is cool. Yeah, I got some cool stuff to show you in Midjourney.
This one I didn't know about, Jeff.
Yeah, this is a really cool one. I found this one about a month ago or so here. So let's see what we got. Wow, look at, here we go. Gee whiz.
Wow. They're putting in the ships for me.
Oh yeah, you don't even ask for it, and it just comes up. Whoa, look at this. Holy crap.
And what's interesting is I can take those ship designs and include in some of that's very cool.
Yeah, you take something like that, build a model, and then fly that mother through there, and there's people in there standing on the edge of the ship. That's crazy. Yeah, look at this. And it's full 360 spherical I mean, this is really cool.
That is
Yeah, that's
very
cool.
cool.
So I just wanted to kind of show you that one. I've got a couple that I've done in here.
Now, I have one quick question. Does this particular platform also have the negative prompts? In other words,
No,
no
no,
shit.
that's not. I mean, you can remix things and whatnot, but here's, I mean, here's a couple. And you save them out and you save them flat, and then you can go and add your XF data and put them up on Facebook. I've done that before. You can go to my Facebook page, and I've got a few. I think I've got this one on there too. But I did some, again for work, because I got to make sure I'm working once in a while too, not just playing in sci-fi land. I asked for a bio lab. This looks nothing like a biotech lab, but I found it was kind of cool architecture anyway. Because I asked for like a realistic large bioscience laboratory with black counters, and it looks more like a classroom or something. It doesn't really look like a real lab. But some of these examples, yeah, they're all too clean for one thing. It's usually just tons of. This is a little more realistic, but this isn't a full 360. I mean, this is actual photograph actually. That's why I tried to use that as a source for something before. That's what an actual biolab looks like. But it's it looks nothing like any of these. So it doesn't. Again, I don't know where it's drawn its source material from. So who knows? And again, it's pretty raw at this point in development, but it's still fun. It's still fun to play with. So I'll just leave it at that. So anyway, I want to get on to Midjourney before we go too much farther here. Let me get into here, because that is that's what's happening here. Let me get on to here. Close up some of this stuff here. Dink, dink. So sometimes in Midjourney you can use photos as references, and obviously I used Honest Abe here a little bit to create some stuff. We're going to get back to Abe later on when I get into some of the image enhancement stuff. But I took his well-known portrait and I gave him different things. He looks like Red Skelton here as a hobo. I typed in different things, where he's pensive, he's high, he's drunk, he's manic, he's angry, whatever. So I put in these different things and I used the source image in Midjourney, and it spit these out. And I had the best time with that. I think it's amazing stuff. It's great stuff.
So Thomas has girl walking pet spider in Sinister City of the Ghost Wolf.
Yeah, we've moved on to that right now. Well, we may add that into we may put that into Midjourney and see how it works in there.
Okay.
So so I like what David Glenn wrote. You just tried Trump in jail in Bing image creator and it barfed. Okay, that's pretty funny. There are some rules and restrictions. Like,
can I get in trouble?
You can't get in trouble at all, but because it'll just say, "Well, can't do that." It won't let you do that. Yeah, it's pretty funny. But no, trust me, we've all tried a lot of sinister things. But I kind of want to show you a little bit of the evolution here too. So this I typed in. This was from I think October of 2022 in Midjourney. And my prompt was something like Uma Thurman making a sandwich, Tarantino style. That's what it was. Yeah, actually, there's my prompt. Uma Thurman making a sandwich, Tarantino style. And that's what it came up with in August of last year, or I mean October of last year. This came out. I did this in February or March. I did this one in March. Uma Thurman making a sandwich. So you can see the quality difference that has come about. and then enhancing the one I thought looked the best came out the best. And this is just up-resed in Midjourney. This has no Photoshop work done to it at all. And so if you compare this to like 6 months later, that's scary.
Yeah.
It's really scary.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at that. I'm going, okay, well, now we're getting into, I mean, she's got the right number of fingers, I think. And you know, it's really good. And I'm sure there's probably a photograph of her, a portrait somewhere out there that this is stolen from, you know, except for the sandwich. But you know, it's getting scary good on how accurate it's getting these days.
So you're saving and storing all of your prompts?
Not real. I usually save the image, and the prompt is built into the name of the image.
Got
It's just the JPEGs. So yeah.
Hmm.
So then I did some other, like, you know, spacey things that my AI universe that I've used in my first article in January, and that was pretty much what it created. It had some other weird. I wanted a movie poster for an epic space, you know, battle type thing, and it gave me this image, and it gave me some weird text because it doesn't really put English in. It puts some like Klingon or something. I don't know. But so anyway, that I did put in because I used that for a article header. But I mean, some of the imagery, yeah, so you can see here, it puts in, you know, kind of like, it's almost like, what do they call it? Lorem ipsum, you know, Greeking the text. But this is from the same series, from the same prompts. And I mean, some of these are pretty cool. I mean, some of them don't make sense. I mean, why are these little guys down here? But it's like, well, that's kind of a cool composite thing, you know? But again, it's idea generating. It just, to me, it's kind of exciting. And then of course you can take things, it's like, what if Wes Anderson made Star Wars? So I love the Wes Anderson spin on pretty much anything, just because it's just so absurd, because his movies are usually pretty out there, you know. But I love this one down here in the bottom right. That's very Wes Anderson like. But it's just fun. Sometimes I just have too much fun, and I laugh to myself. So and then we've got a young Kirk as the Borg, turning into the Borg. So
and that's what
that one was kind of cool. That came out. Yeah, that's what it gave me.
Oh,
so
that's a travesty.
Well, it probably. I know. Well, there you go. It's it's supposed to be, current and updated, right? So, yeah. So anyway, but that's the kind of stuff that I'm getting from some of these. Now, some of them, again, using images as a prompt in Midjourney. This is from one of my favorite airbrush artists from the 70s and 80s. It's Japanese guy. I can't pronounce his name, even if I had it in front of me, but he did a book called Sexy Robot. And it's all, yeah, I have the book. Is it here? No, I don't have it here. I just grabbed his name off the book. I don't have it in my bookshelf right now. But I loved his work in Chrome, and he really inspired me on how to look at Chrome differently as an airbrush artist. And so I did a lot of Chrome stuff for album covers back in the 80s. And I used him as my reference model. Well, I used it to see what would Midjourney give me based on using that as a start image. And so I used it as an image. I said, make real 1920s Art Deco, black and white. And so this is what it gave me as some results. And, we've got the Wally eyes and things like that going on in here, but that's easily fixed. But I loved kind of the textures and stuff that it gave me. It's very different from using this as the source, but it kind of gave me the look and feel and added my prompt to it as well. So digging deeper into it, I got some other results from it that were a little better. And so a little cleaner, a little more out there. That one was kind of cool.
It's kind of cool.
You see, I went a little farther here. And so I added cinematic film. This one's kind of weird. It kind of looks like a, I don't know, alien. This one's part of the building. I think it got kind of mixed up with the Art Deco cinematic film thing, kind of screwed it up. But you know, one of my favorites from the series, Exploring a Little Farther, is this one. And of course, that's the image that we used for promoting the event today. It's also in my second article. But yeah, there's a lot of things that are wrong about it and weird about it, like her ear is like way back here, and things like that. But it still is interesting. It's still, her teeth look like she's been eating rocks for a while. You know, there's some stuff that's just not quite right, but it still evokes some kind of an emotion to it and gives you a little feeling of, you know, I could make something from something like that. You know, exploring some of the ideas. So to me, it's again, it's all about you know, what do you want to try to make? You know, what are you looking for? Are you trying to just get ideas? Or are you trying to get finished artwork? So to me, I rarely am looking for finished artwork. Let me see. Let me go to my Discord channel here, and I run stuff just constantly. I've got a lot of stuff going on in here. This was a sci-fi landscape, futuristic landscape. If I open that up so you can see it better. I mean, that's all the prompt I gave it, you know, and so it gives you some pretty amazing details in here. So zoom in here. And yeah, again, it's storyboarding, stuff like that. This is great for this type of thing. Oh, somebody said Sexy Robot's currently out of print and worth some money. Oh, I believe it. I mean, he was a master at what he does. So, but I'm not selling mine for anything. My kids will have to inherit it. This one was another one I just kind of threw out there. A very simple prompt.
Who was the artist that did what is his name? He did the concept artist that did the work on Blade Runner. You know who he is, David. You know who he is.
Oh, that's
Oh gosh, my brain is the Blade.
Yeah, I can barely remember my own name. I have a really hard time with names.
I've got the book where he did. It was a bunch of.
Somebody can Google it for us.
Yeah, somebody Google it. Okay, great.
So again, farm workers in the 1800s photos, vintage 1800 photos of farm workers. I don't really know what they're doing here. You know, harvesting an ant hill. I don't know, but again, you know, just some bizarre things. So let me go back here. I went to. I'm locked out of OpenAI. Has me blacklisted right now for some reason.
Why?
So I don't know. I've got a service ticket in with them. There we go. Sidney J. Mead.
That's right. I've got his book signed.
Right.
So blacklisted you?
Yeah. So if I go here to ChatGPT, I'm blocked. So I've changed my IP and everything, and for some reason I can open it on my phone and use it on my phone, but for some reason my IP is blocked. So I said, screw you, I'm gonna go somewhere else. So I went to Google Bard. I've been using Bard for a while. I actually like it better. So all I asked Bard was this here. I said, generate a cool science fiction action scene on a futuristic spaceship. So it gave me this long description here. Says, sure, here's a cool sci-fi action scene on a futuristic spaceship. And so it says, here's the year, humanity is spread to the stars, blah, blah. It gives me this whole story, right? Now, obviously, it chose Starfleet and USS Enterprise and all of that. And so it says, and here's some more additional details to make the scene more vivid. And it gave me all these details. So I did this. I just went copy, paste into Midjourney, just like this. And this is what it gave me. This is just raw right out of Midjourney.
Wow. Nice.
So, I mean, it's funky. I mean, look at how, some crazy shit going on here with the Enterprise. But, but again, conceptually, it says, oh, you want something like this, again, not finished art by any stretch of the imagination, but it's still cool. And I love the colors and the atmosphere and all of that. And again, if we get to a point where we can generate this stuff and then pull out layers, you could pull out the spaceship and get just the background, or you can generate stuff, go, okay, I want that, but I just don't want the background without spaceship. I just want the background. So I can put my own 3D model in there, or I can maybe animate it somehow. And I'm always thinking of what can I do with this stuff, So, but I was just one prompt. That was all I had. And that's what it gave me. So kind of excited about that. And now I kind of also went in and started digging around to what about stereo? What about having stereo pairs of these things? And so I asked it to generate some stereo pairs for me, Midjourney, and 90% of the time it failed, but I was able to pull some stuff out and utilize it. And anybody who's like me, who's been a 3D fan all their life, I mean, I grew up with Viewmasters, and my mom's Stereopticon, old from the 1800s. They had the cards, the big stereo, and that's kind of what I wanted. I wanted a Stereopticon type of feel, these vintage photos. And then I learned how to make them myself with film and everything. I built my own 3D camera using 2 Canon film cameras. I still have it. And so I wanted to see what would happen here. And sure enough, it was able to generate. Now, this one is cross-viewed. And if anybody is capable of cross-viewing on their screen, you cross your eyes until the center image comes in focus, and you see the 3D image in the middle. And that takes some practice for people. Some people can't really handle that. There's also parallel viewing, and that's a little harder for some people to get. But let's see, I've got another one here let me see, this one here worked out pretty good too. And if you can cross view that one until she comes in focus, they're still a little bit off. Her head they've got her chin coming down a little too much on the image on the right. And I think that throws it off. The parallax is a little bit off in that direction. But I was surprised it worked at all, actually. I'm actually flabbergasted any of this worked at all. I was inspired by somebody else in another group that did one of more of a modern day thing. Here's another one. I made all these cross view because that's usually easiest for people to be able to see by crossing their eyes slightly and then locking in on that center focus. But I don't know. I was impressed. I was really impressed. And again, I don't think they took it from any source, because the 3D isn't as good as you would get if it was an actual twin image shot, from a camera. But it's close, and I was pretty excited about it, at least. So, so back to Midjourney. I didn't know if anybody wanted to try something else that I can plug in here. If I can take one of those earlier prompts, and there's certain words I can't use, like, you can't use, sexy or boobs or, all those things.
There is an adult AI site.
Yeah, and I've avoided that because I really don't need more of that. I mean, I've seen enough big anime boobs in all the AI channels
Okay,
anyway.
Thomas has girl walking pet spider in sinister city of the ghost wolf.
Okay, let me see if I find so I can just copy and paste that. Let's see. He wrote that. Where was that? Here it is. Let me just copy and paste it from his text.
All right, sounds cool.
Okay, so since we're in Discord, you have to give it a command. So I'm going to go.
So it says if you go to adult sites, you wouldn't get any work done.
Yeah, it'd be the wrong kind of work. That's for sure.
As I said, type of work is not worth it.
That's right. That's right. No kidding. So let's see what.
All right.
Yeah.
So Pixelato.
I just want you to be able to see how this develops because it's diffusion rendering. So it doesn't just pop up an image. You can see it developing here on the screen. So
why don't you explain what diffusion rendering is for those who may not know what that really means?
Well, shoot, I wasn't prepared for that because I've got a really good image that shows kind of what it does.
Okay.
What it kind of does is it takes let's expand this so we can see it larger here. It takes what it thinks are the images that you're looking for. It takes its resources and it breaks it up into quadrants like pixels. So it will divide it in 4, and then all those 4s are divided again and divided and divided and divided. And that's basically how diffusion works. It diffuses the image by breaking it down, breaking it down. And then it combines all of the diffused elements and starts bringing them together and starts redeveloping it by it's kind of like when you enlarge an image and you use a diffusion model to enlarge an image or to reduce it. It kind of does that. It works on the pixels around the pixel versus like, just nearest neighbor or something like that. It actually kind of creates that way. It's I do have a really good diagram. I don't know where I put it. It's somewhere on my hard drive. And I will find it, but it shows it. It's a really good explanation of how it works. And it's very simple. It's very computational, mathematical, but it breaks things down and then puts things back in a very different order. It's kind of like teleportation in a way, or beaming up somebody. And, if there's like the movie, The Fly, well, there's a fly inside his capsule at the same time, of course, guess what happens? So, but there's let me open this up so I can see it bigger. And this is scary cool, actually. So that's a good prompt. Thanks, Thomas. That's crazy. But yeah, that's just crazy, actually.
I love that.
That is wild. I mean, that's neat. Now you can see how many children's horror books are going to come out of this stuff,
Oh yeah.
And people already are. I mean, people are making children's books and illustrations for stories and stuff with this stuff, just raw right out of it. So it's pretty wild, though. I think it's kind of cool. So yeah, so we have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun in here. Here's my prompts for these. So, and it doesn't always work, obviously. Look at here. Vintage stereo pair of a mature woman, and I was getting, what the hell? It's stereo. I was getting stereos. It's like, oh, okay. So you don't always get what you want. That's the thing with image generation. You gotta keep trying. But the thing is, it's like here, what you can do is like, okay, I like, say I want this one here, number 2. I can up-res number 2, so it does a little finer detail. Or I can get variations with the V2. I can get variations of number 2, and it's going to give me 4 more variations based on that image. And so you can keep drilling down until you get something you really like. See, this one's developing here. So it's going to just change some things like the people in it and the spider, to some point. One that, the legs are a little different or whatever. It's still developing. It's at 83%. Here we go. So here's variations. Oh yeah, see, we got some cars in there now. That's kind of cool. And so if I go back here and I go, okay, I like the one with the cars. Let me up-res that one.
So I've got a question.
Yeah,
I'm noticing
sure.
that all of the images have this smoky, atmospheric environment always around it.
Not always. It just depends on what you do, what you tell it to do.
Okay. Was there something in the prompt that told it to do that in your prompt?
Well, he's got Sinister City of the Ghost Wolf. I mean, whatever the hell that is. It's but yeah, so it's going to give you kind of a more dark and sinister. So if I put this in here, so let me say, if I paste that back in, walking a pet spider in downtown Manhattan, 1979. And I'm going to do this little trick here just to make sure it gives me the highest quality. So it may give me a little like a semi-vintage photo, like maybe a Polaroid type photo or something, because I gave it a date. So let's see what it does. It's kind of waiting on me here. Got to wait for the computer on the back end to catch up to us.
Their computer.
Yeah, because it's cloud. It's all cloud based. So, and so is your Adobe stuff. So your Firefly and everything else. Oh no, this is coming out. This is crazy now. It's going to go totally the other direction. Okay, it's almost done. Here we go. Okay, there we go. So there you go. So yeah, it does kind of have a film, 1979 film, and their pet spider isn't as giant. This one is, but this one's cute. It's just got has this little crazy face on it. I like that. That's great. So you can really kind of direct it too as to what you're looking for. So I've gotten some really crazy stuff out of here, and I'm not going to scroll up in my feed because I don't know what I've asked for. I don't want anything to show up that shouldn't. So, but anyway, you can see it doesn't always give you what you want, but it does. It gives you what you need, right? No, it's well, that was hanging. That was just hanging out there. Oh man. Okay. Yeah.
The Stones will be proud of you.
Yeah. That's right. No kidding.
So Hobbit Town ruled by Shelob.
Oh my God. What the hell?
Well, Shelob is the giant spider, right?
Yeah. I'm just gonna go Hobbit Town. Okay, I'm gonna try it. This will be my last one.
All right.
And then we're gonna go on to the image enhancement. So.
All right.
Okay, let's do this. Image prompt. Okay, here we go. Hobbit Town. There's a spider in the Shire. Let's see what it does. It may be something totally different. Maybe a cartoon. I don't know. Where it's kind of like, it's like pulling the handle in Vegas, So somebody asked about Stable Diffusion. Yes, I have played with the web version of it. I have colleagues that have it installed on their dedicated machines, Stable Diffusion, and they're running some remarkable stuff. If we have time, I will pull up a couple short music things he's done, because he's also a composer and developer. I think he's genius with what he comes up with. some of his AI animation with Stable Diffusion. It's just pretty amazing. Basically, Midjourney is running Stability AI in the background. It's using the same core libraries and engine that Stable Diffusion is. It just has a Discord interface on it, and eventually they'll come out with their own app. But and I don't think that looks like a Hobbit town, but it's definitely creepy. So let me open it up bigger.
Have you tried Stable Diffusion GUI, which is
yeah,
it's called?
Yeah, it's the online version. It's a web interface for it. And to me, it's okay. It's not. I don't think it goes as deep as Midjourney.
Well,
I really don't.
This is not the online version. This is a program that installs on your hard drive, and you
right. Well, that's what I was talking about. That's what I've been talking about. My colleague that does that.
Gotcha.
It takes you pretty much have to have a dedicated machine, and actually, I've heard the best is M1 Mac works the best for it. Just from the results I've seen from people, especially if you're doing the animation stuff, especially it's pretty wild. But yeah, some cool stuff. Yeah, this is pretty wild. I'm kind of digging this actually. It's pretty wild. Wow, that's cool. So, whoa, what's this dude down here? Wow, Beelzebub. I don't know, man. It's pretty cool though. That's wild. That's fun. That's a fun result. Very cool.
And you can probably build quickly with some simple shapes.
Yeah, you could. I mean, that's the thing. You can take something like that, explore it, pull elements out, do your own thing with it. So it's pretty wild. To answer you, Thomas, it's not yet. I've got some things. I'm going to show you some animation stuff in a bit, and some pretty cool, mind-blowing stuff too. But let's get into the image enhancement segment first. So I think most of you know about Topaz Labs, probably, right? Gigapixel, I've been using that for a long time. That AI has been getting better and better and better in time. I took some stock images here. Let me get rid of some of these others here. I just pulled some off from the interwebs, right, in the commons. So here's an image here that I just pulled off as a stock photo from news archives, and I ran that through Gigapixel. Get that here. And this one had some of their face correction, so it cleaned it up. It expanded it 4 times, 400%, blew it up, and it did some kind of face correction on it. Now they're getting better, but I don't really like what Gigapixel does to faces. It kind of gives them wally eyes. They're not really, the eyes aren't really good. I mean, they actually look like they're taken from another photo or something, kind of crazy. So let me see what's my next one. Oh, this is it without the face reconstruction. So it's really sad. But again, what I have done is I will take something like this and then run it through my other favorite AI generator, and not generator, but enhancement, and that's Rimini. And I'm going to show you that here in a minute. But let me see if this one here. Let me see if this one does. This is still Gigapixel. So, but looking at the original, which is, I mean, it doesn't get much worse than that. JPEG damage, low res scan, all of that, fuzzy, out of focus, old film, and you're still getting a much cleaner result here. A better example of how crazy some of this is. Wait, let's see here. Oh, here's the interface on Gigapixel, just so you can see what I chose. So I started with the model was a low resolution. I went 400% with it. I did just a slight face recovery on this one. Let me see. This one here, I had face recovery up to 90%. So, so it does give you some control over some of that. You can turn it on or off, and how much noise suppression and blur suppression you're getting rid of. But so it has a pretty easy to follow user interface, at least. Another one that I did, which was really crazy, was this one here. And it's really damaged here. And that's she was a jazz singer back in the 30s, I think, 30s and 40s, Joyce Bryant. I just did the up-res at this point, and it really, if you look at the before and after, it really recovered a lot of skin and dress detail here. I mean, it actually looks, better. Still a little chunky, but it also brought out all the wrinkles in the curtain. It's like, hey, wait a second, somebody just had that folded up. Let's see, this one has no facial recognition. I think it kind of botched up her face a bit. Yeah, so it's kind of botched there. But you can see where it really does do a nice job of upscaling. I mean, I still use it a lot for upscaling, Topaz Gigapixel. I use a lot of the Topaz stuff, actually. It's pretty nice. I've used their video enhancer too, which we used in the movie. So let's see here. I'm going to go to Rimini, which is my go-to for all of this. I've been using Rimini Web for over a year now. They've been around for a long time. Let's see here. There's
and share that link in the private chat, and I'll send to everybody else.
Yeah, actually, let me see. I've got it right here. This is Rimini right here. It's let me do this. You have to sign up for it. You can try it out. There's a trial version of it, which is limited. But let me paste this to you here. I think I pay about $250 for an annual subscription because I use it a lot. And I'm going to show you how I've been using it with a couple sneak examples as well as some hardcore stuff. But I mean, it literally does this. It does a really amazing job of face detail. But it primarily only does face detail. I've applied it to other images, and they are developing more tools into it for backgrounds and whatnot that does more than faces, but I've been using it primarily for face detail to bring eyes and faces back in. Like even something that's been generated in Midjourney, I'll run it. Sometimes it'll give me a face I don't like, and I'll go into Photoshop and I'll blur the face out just with the blur tool, and then run it through this, and it gives me the face I really wanted. It'll be
Wow.
It's pretty amazing stuff.
Oh,
So,
wow.
So let's see here. Here is a couple examples again that I pulled off online. Let me see, is this one? Yeah, this one's been Rimini enhanced as well. Let me get it to open. Come on, open. There we go. So this one, gave me her eyelashes back. It gave, it really enhanced. So she's got eyebrows again, a little more definition in the lips and some of the hair. So taking something that is, low res and kind of out of focus, but you want to get those details back. I mean, my gosh. And it was an airbrush photo to start with. So it still looks like an airbrush photo, but it didn't change those characteristics. It just brought out face details that just weren't really there. So see another one here that I've got. Hang on a second. I'm going to pull out here. Whoop. I'm going to open this one up. Layers in this one. So this is obviously a well-known photo. That's the one I used, for all the funny face ones I showed you earlier that I generated from. But this obviously an actual historical portrait, and you can see the depth of field that was in the large format camera at the time was just his face. He's right here is the only thing in focus. Everything else is out of focus. Plus, I mean, it's dirty as hell. So if you just run something like that through any generator, including Adobe's neural filters, it doesn't really get rid of all the dirt. I mean, it gets rid of some of it, even when you crank it up to 100%. But I have found that it doesn't really retouch it that well. And it makes a lot of extra craziness in his face I didn't really care for. So Rimini didn't seem to do that. But my first step with an image like this is I retouch it. I clean it up.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah.
Question, because you're getting into how you actually do the technique, and it's about time for that 15-minute break.
Okay. Do you want to come back to it after our break?
Yeah, we'll come back because we'll spend the second half of your presentation where you actually show them how you do it.
Okay, cool. Sure, that's fine.
Okay, cool. So everybody, I'm gonna share my screen right now, and you don't have to do anything, Jeff. Just sit tight.
Yep. Okay.
And let me go to present and share screen, and let's go ahead and share my entire screen. We'll share that one there. Okay, so 15-minute break, everybody. Fantastic presentation. A lot of great responses to this. So having a good time. So take a 15-minute break. We'll come back, and then Jeff is going to get into how he actually does this stuff. He's going to start bringing in images and using his AI tools to create some pretty cool stuff.
Cool. Great.
All right.
We'll see you in a few.
All right. See you in a few minutes.
Only one 4-letter word. What the fuck are you talking about? I guess my mic is working. You guys know me too well.
All right, it's about that time. We're coming back in about 1 minute. And Jeff, your microphone is muted.
There we go. Before we get back into the Photoshop thing, I pulled up Jason's YouTube channel
cool.
so I could show a couple of those stable diffusion generations he's done on his
yes,
on his own machine, and he does all the music generation and everything. He teaches at the Art Institute, so he's the Academy of Arts Institute in San Francisco. He's
I was gonna say,
so he's
Thomas used to teach at the Art Institute, and they're all gone.
Yeah, no, this is Academy of Arts Institute. So.
So Thomas says, having fun combining fictional characters in Skybox, such as Edward Eric, Flight, Solomon Kane. Jeff, thanks for the lead and cool AI image generator. That's a cool one.
It is a fun one. It's fun. Yeah.
Skybox, I did not know about. So that's a new one for me. So I'm definitely going to play with that quite a bit.
Yeah, actually, I have I've got a list of tools. Actually, I'll paste this into your chat. You can share it with everybody.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and share your great. I'll grab that, and I'm going to add your screen back to the to StreamYard.
Great.
I'm going to grab your link for the video so everyone can go check it out on their own.
Yeah, that's I try to keep a running list. I've got to update it for May. There's 1 or 2 changes, but not much has changed in the last couple of weeks, so I haven't updated it for a little bit, but that's my running list of all things AI for content creators and photo, video, image folks. So so anyway, I just want, before we got back into the Photoshop thing, I did look this up during the break, and I got his channel. I'm just going to show a couple. These are only like a minute or 2 long, but he generates all of the imagery based on his own setup. He's got a Stable Diffusion run locally on an M1 Mac, and he lets these things run. Sometimes they take all night to generate the animations. But and then he composes the music and everything behind it, and they're pretty cool. I'm just going to show a couple of them, but you can look up his channel. It's Dr. Jason Martineau, amazing musician too. So.
This is wonderful. I'm assuming there's music to this as well, which we're not.
Oh yeah. Oh, you can't hear my music. Oh, okay.
Can't hear the music, but we can see the image generator. But I've given everybody the link too, so.
Yeah, without the music playing, is there a way I can share my sound as well?
Through StreamYard, I guess it would have to kind of come through your speakers and your microphone.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. No, that's crazy. Yeah, in Zoom you can add computer sound. So, but anyway, I just sent you a link to this particular one because it's with the music. It's 99% better. So anyway, go to his channel. Jason Martineau. I gave you the link to that last video I shared. I mean, he's an amazing musician. So most of his stuff is music, but this is something he's passionate about as well. And he and I have been sharing some really fun stuff, and he does just amazing, beautiful work. He also is a great photographer and a painter. He's a real Renaissance guy. But anyway, he's definitely worth checking out. You'll love these things. He's got a bunch of these animations, all with his compositions, and it's all very, very cool. So anyway, so let's pick up where we left off. I've got a lot of stuff to cover still, and I want to make sure we get through most of it. So back to Abe. This was the original scan. I mean, it's a dirty, messy scan. Of course, I retouch. I do everything. I don't have it plugged in right now, but I do everything on my Wacom. This is my Mobile Studio Pro, which I use as a Cintiq mostly. And I do everything on that. I do all my retouching on that because it's just so easy to use, like the healing brush with your pen tool. Just go beep, 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 right where everything is. And it's like, it just speeds up the workflow so much more than just trying to use like a regular Wacom tablet and you're looking at the screen and try to, where's my cursor? I mean, you just go boom, 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 right on the image, and it's just 100% better. So if you get a Cintiq, it'll change your life if you haven't had one. So anyway, first thing I do is I clean up all the mess. And that's what I did here. I left some of it in here. I left a little bit because I wanted the texture still in the background. I still wanted it to look like it was a vintage portrait, but I just got rid of all the dirt and scratches and everything. And then I ran it through Rimini. So I'm going to open up Rimini. I'm going to show you the actual process. So let me grab the image. So here's my retouched image here. So that's just the retouched image. I'm going to take that and I get into Rimini. It just takes a little bit to do it, which again, some of this AI, I mean, when I first thought about cloud-based, processing of anything, I was like, oh my God, it's going to take me days to do anything. But with the AI tools, it's just anything but. So if I zoom in here, if anything, it overcorrects things. And I'm going to show you what I do to get to deal with that too. So if we look in here, so that's my retouched image here that I brought in. And this is what it brings back.
Huh. Nice.
And you actually start seeing some other textures in there as well. So they have a lot of other stuff in here. Like you can do the catfish filters, for the chicks that don't want to show anybody what they really look like. And guys, I mean, it's not, don't want to be sexist here, sorry. And then different coloring models and everything. But you can see the basic background enhancement is here. That it does smooth that out a bit. Again, like anything that I do, I will do it subtly. I may take this, I'll download it, and then I'll put it back into Photoshop as a layer. And let me close this one up here and here. So what I've done is I've taken the enhanced one. Here's what it is, full strength enhanced, right here. Now I've taken that because it's a little too sharp. Some of these edges are a little over sharpened. There's some things in there I'm not real happy about. Some of this is just, it's like too modified. It doesn't look real. It doesn't look natural. And my point was I wanted it to still look like a better version of the original photo. So I copy and paste it in there. And then I will do one of a couple different things. First thing I'll do is I'll take the opacity down. So if I'm at 100% opacity, then I just have the full strength, enhancement. But I'll usually start around 70%, which is a good general point. That brings it down where I still see some of the softness and natural feeling from underneath. I get some of that grain. Obviously, if you go down to even more, 50%, it starts coming out more. Either that or I'll mask it and I'll paint mask areas that I want to have show up and that I don't want to show up. So that gives me that layer, that flexibility in layers. But see, I still have some of the hairs that it brought in, which are missing here, but it does a good job of saying, I think these hairs here are sticking out, because when you hide it, you see, well, there's something going on there. It's not just fuzzy because of the film or the focus on the camera. There's actually something there, and it kind of knows what to generate in there. So it still looks like him. It's not just taking some face and sticking it on there. So to me, this is the most natural way to get from here, to something that is, a little fresher and, more natural, usable, retouched image. And this is the process that I have been using, like I said, for about a year now, since Rimini first came out. It was, when it first came out, it was, you had to pay by the week. It was like $4.99 a week or something like that. And it was the company comes out of, I think it comes out of Italy, and they had no other e-com thing but to give them $4.99 a week. And so I was constantly having to bill $4.99 every week to reset it. But now just this year they came out with the annual plan. I was so happy. So it's like $249 for the year, and it's unlimited. It's great. They also do video now. I haven't really played with the video thing that much because the last videos I needed to up-res, I used Topaz video enhancement. So I've yet to play with it, but I will, because I love their facial enhancement so much. I mean, I did some restorations. Like I took my mom's high school photo and did that, and I printed it out for my mom and dad. So that's the before and after. This is the direct scan of her photo, and then I was able to do that and bring it out. And it just I think it did a spectacular job of enhancing that. So for archival, for restoration stuff, it's absolutely, to me, that is the go-to, much more so than what I've been able to get out of Adobe's neural filters. In fact, I can actually show you just taking my retouch photo and going to the neural filters and going to its, let's see if I've got it downloaded on this beta here. Let's see here. If it comes up, photo restoration beta, turn that on. And by default, I think it does too much. So you have to go in there and play with it a bit. It takes a little bit to do it. Again, it's doing this locally. It says it's processing on device, so it's probably processing there. But I don't know if it's pulling any data anywhere. I think it may just be a closed loop generator. I'm not sure the math behind it. And I'm not sure how Rimini does what it does, because it retains the faces of the people that you're actually working on. I'm going to show you some examples on a project I've been working on. So this is pretty harsh. I mean, he looks like he's really hung over here. So, I'd be pulling these things way down, these sliders way down, to try to get more. And yeah, while it's okay, it kind of works. I think it overdoes certain things. I don't think it gives me the natural feel that I get with Rimini. So I just haven't really used it that much. I feel I get a much better result out of Rimini. And that's that. Let me show you. Now, this is kind of the secret-y stuff that nobody can talk about. You're all sworn to secrecy here if I show you this stuff. I have been working on a feature documentary for the last, I think we started in 2019, and at least conceptual stuff we did. It's a documentary on Cheech and Chong, and if any of you are too young to know who Cheech and Chong are, you can Google it. I grew up with the records and the movies and everything, so to me, it's been kind of a passion project because it sure hasn't been for the money. But I have been doing the all the image finishing and visual effects for the film. So I get a title credit in it, which is cool. And hopefully it'll come out later this year because we're in the final stages of working on this thing. But I'm going to show you just a couple image examples using this technique. And let me see if I've got a couple here that I can pull up. Let me pull up the PSD here so you can see the layers and how I did it. And of course, I did I think there's like 1,200 separate images I worked on for this film. And so you can see I've got several different things going on here. So that's the original. Here's the original image. And that's little Cheech as a kid. So first thing I do, I go in and I retouch all the noise and dirt and crap out of there. I think in this one, there was some crap going on. Yeah, there was some stuff going on in the sky up there too, which was a mess. So I cleaned that up. And then I ran it through Rimini, 70%. And boom, here we go. We've got faces. You can see who they are again. So from the original to retouched and enhanced, it's very usable. So we first started working on the film. I was just retouching, and I hadn't really discovered Rimini yet. And so it's like about a year ago, I started going through and running everything back through it and getting so much better results. It was pretty amazing. There's a few things like some composites that I did too, where I had to take a couple images and combine them, plus run everything through. So here's one. It's opening. There we go. So this one here, same kind of thing. Started with that image. And I think what they had done is she had taken a picture of him. He had taken a picture of her. And yeah, because they were sitting in the same spot. So I had to move her over and make sure all the shadows and reflections all worked and everything. Let's see here. I don't know why I put that in there. And then again, Rimini at the end. So I did a lot of that kind of stuff too. A lot of composites and cleanups, things like that, restoration. So let me see. I got another example that, let's see. Try to look for the ones that needed the most work here. Here we go. Let's take a look at this one. Yeah, this is one of those, because again, you're doing it for a film, so it has to fit a certain format and everything. So I started with this image, and it's Cheech as a young boy, 8th grade, I think it says. First thing you do is you retouch it, get all the junk out of there. Then I did a first pass at AI enhancement. And then I had to do a little more retouching on that, because sometimes when you do your AI enhancement, it shows up more problems, more artifacts. Some scratches are more enhanced, things like that when you start zooming in, And so you have to retouch a little more. I think I lightened up his face a little on that side, lightened up the shadows. Then I needed to extend the backgrounds as well. So used a little content aware fill, which is a bit AI-ish in Photoshop, and then did the rest by hand. So starting with one dirty little image and coming out to something that's usable, and it's the format that fits the film style. So that's the type of thing that I was doing. Let's see if there's a more current one here. This is, yeah, this was a promo. if you guys know their work, this is from their wedding album, which was like all of their work, completely irreverent. So their whole premise was they're Siamese twins. So they're so anyway, that's the same thing where I had the original image. And you can see how dirty some of these scans are. I mean, these are just film scans. I think a lot of the stuff they got out of a shoebox in somebody's garage. It's that kind of work. So you get these scans and you got to clean the hell out of them, get rid of all of the dirt. And then the AI enhancement locks it all in, and it gave me faces back. Even did a good job with glasses, which I was surprised. So something that fuzzy to be able to pull out the glasses, the reflections, everything. Just amazing work. So that's the type of thing. Like I said, I did about 1,200 of those kind of things for this film, and some of them are on screen for like 1/10 of a second. So anyway, that's the type of thing I've been doing on the film, plus some special effects I can show if we have time at the end. So let me get on to some of the Photoshop based stuff, which is some new tools we got to work with. And I'm running the beta right now. I assume some or most of you have been using the beta and playing with some of these tools, but just to show how some things have changed a lot. Primarily, I love the new remove tool because I usually use the spot healing brush tool. I use that for almost all my retouching work. But if you just use a spot healing brush tool, like I want to remove this guy in here, and I just use this, it kind of works, but then it also adds in some weird artifacts in there. But the remove tool seems to do a little better job of putting in all the textures and everything that it calculates should be there. So see, I don't get any weird blurriness there. Everything completes really nicely there.
Much nicer.
Yeah. I mean, you can come in here and take her out, empty the street. Let's get rid of this car. Boom. It's a little scary. Get rid of that bus.
Very nice.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't always work, but in something like this, it tends to work. Yeah, you could probably see, there's something weird with the curbs up there, whatever. But I mean, in general, you wanted an empty street, you can empty the street pretty quick. So same thing here in this image. Nice shot of the hotel lobby. I just didn't want these dorks in here, so let's de-dork these guys and get rid of them. He's not really working. So let's get rid of him. Boom.
Nice.
Oh, a little bit of an ear there. Let's get rid of that. There we go. Let's get rid of this guy. He's the manager. He's overpaid. Doesn't really deserve it. So you can do that to your work photos too. People you don't like at work. I just get rid of them. There, I feel better. So now you got a nice clean lobby shot there. So I'm impressed with that tool, and it's obviously using some AI to be able to generate that, because it's just using, like I said, just the spot healing tool that uses the pixels around it. This actually looks at the image and goes, that should continue here. This should go there. That should go there. And like I said, it doesn't always work. I've taken other images that don't quite work as well, but I thought that one worked pretty good. So that was pretty cool. So anyway, that's all I'm showing in Photoshop. I want to go on to some of the other stuff here. I've got one is a pretty important one. Somebody asked, does Lightroom Beta have that? I don't know. I haven't played with Lightroom Beta. The only Lightroom I use, I do a lot of product photography for work, and I use Lightroom Classic as my tool that I have tethered to my camera. And that way I can stream whatever I'm shooting, and that works. But I don't know if Lightroom Beta has the remove tool. I haven't played with it because I don't use Lightroom. I use Photoshop. So, but I don't know. So that's something you can explore and find out.
In Lightroom Classic, it does, according to Automatters.
It does? Cool. Okay, good. Great. All right. So let's go to, let me see here. Get my thing back up here. I'm going to show you something cool here. Let's go to, actually, I can turn that off. 11 Labs. This is a bit of magic. These guys, these developers out of the UK, and I've been in contact with them for the last 4 months as they've been developing things. This is a text-to-speech generator, unlike no other that I've heard yet. I've tried them all. This one is the closest to human voices that I've heard yet, and I've got a bunch of examples to show you as well. But one thing you can do is you can clone people's voices, which can be scary.
Can we have the link to this?
Yeah, let me get you this link. This is 11 Labs. Copy and paste it into your
private chat.
Yep, there you go.
Cool. And the name of this is?
It's just called 11 Labs.
Okay, 11 Labs.
They're still in beta, but it's a paid beta. I mean, or you don't have to. You can just play with it. You can. I think you can do like 4 or 5 voices just in the unpaid version. So, I'm not quite sure what Tintin's asking there. Maybe you can expound on that.
I think Tintin's, it looked like his question is kind of taking you off of where you were at. He's talking about artificial intelligence. Let's see, do we talk about it when it comes to creatives and innovation? Yeah, you missed all that, Tintin. That was earlier in our conversation.
Yeah.
But everything's recorded, so you can go back and watch it.
Yeah, we've been there. So anyway, for the voice lab, I've sampled some people, but you can go to you can add a voice and you can clone them, or you can generate a voice and design a voice. So you can come in here and say, okay, I want a female voice. I want, I'll say young. I'm gonna go for British and see what it says here. Accent strength. I'm going to go to a stronger accent and then hit generate. Uh-oh. Hello. Okay. What is not working here? Let's try a different combination. Okay. Of course, it's going to error when you're demoing, right? So I'm just going to go back out here. I'll share I've got some selections which I've generated. So let's see if this will work. I cloned this bit here. Let me pull this up. I took this video and used it as a sample from. Oh, wait a second. I forgot. You can't hear anything on my computer, can you?
No.
This whole section is moot. So I'm gonna have to. Yeah, you can't hear my computer. That's unfortunate. So yeah, you're not gonna be able to hear any of this. So I'm gonna just scratch this section and we'll move on then. That's too bad. It's really bad that that's not an option that we can have in here. So, okay, we'll go on to something else entirely different. This is a beta that I just got in the last 2 weeks. And let me get to that point here. I gotta get out of there. Here we go. Okay, so I have to open up a couple things here. Okay, so what this does, what Wonder Studios does, is it takes a video either from one of their templates or a video that you upload, and it will automatically do all the motion tracking, character removal, and put in a new character in its place. So let me show you. Probably the easiest way is to just look at a template. And let's look at a template here where these are videos they already have in here. So if I play this through, there's no audio here, so I don't have to worry about it. Here's this guy, handheld camera, lens flare, all this stuff going on. He's just wandering around. Okay. So what you do is you take your clip and you say, select an actor. So you find your actor. And then you get to choose a character, or you can build one, or you just export the data and create your own, which is what I sent you last night, Steve. I don't know if you had a chance to play with it in Blender or not, but you take that tracking data and you can assign a replacement character. So let's go to like Toaster Bot because he's skinny and it shows it off pretty well. So I'm going to say, I want this guy to replace the guy in the video. So I just hit assign.
This is going to be good.
This is insane is what it is. So then I go to next, and it's because this is their demos. They're pretty much pre-rendered for everything, so they come up pretty quick. Otherwise, it can take a few hours. And this is what it did. It got rid of the guy and it put this 3D guy in here instead. So let it loop here a bit.
That's
but
cool.
It kind of matches the color and everything and lighting. Your lens flares still come out. It doesn't work that fast in the real world because I'm going to show you a few real world examples too. But some of my template examples here.
Is this still?
Here's another one.
Is this still 11 Labs?
No, this is Wonder. This is Wonder Studio. No, we had to skip 11 Labs because you guys can't hear anything.
Gotcha. Well, let me have the link for this one, and I'll send that to everybody.
Yeah, this one you have to apply for the beta because it's a closed beta. It took me 2 months to get into the beta, so but I'll send it to you anyway. Paste. There we go.
Okay.
Okay, so this was the original video of this guy here. He's just a dude walking out in the desert here. So I just, anywhere in here, you can just go show actor and it just finds the person that's moving. And you can put somebody else in there. I'm going to put this guy in there instead. Oops. I have to reassign him. Bob. Okay. And then hit next. And now we got this little dude in there. Now, obviously, these are pre-generated characters that have all the rigging and everything in them. But as they expand the capabilities, they're going to be adding more characters, but they're going to allow you to put your own rigged characters in as well. And it also exports other data. So like I tried one here. Let me see. Do I have another one? Oh yeah, here's another one that I already did. I used a different character here, but it does a pretty good job of removing the person in the background and filling that in. You can see there's a few artifacts when he passes some of the bushes, but other than that, it's pretty amazing for what it's doing. It does a pretty good job. This one here, same thing. I used another character. Took out the person. The lighting isn't quite as good on this one as I would like to have seen it, but it still holds up pretty good. Again, this is all cloud-based, and it's pretty wild that it's doing anything at all. I think each one of these, since these were template-based, they were pretty instant because I think they're all pre-rendered results that's just pulling out of its catalog. So it's pretty close, pretty good. So the ones I created here, let me show you this. I took, whoops. This is an old Jane Fonda workout video, right? And I did it because I wanted to see what it would do when it changes camera angles. And if it could hold up to the change in camera shots, the 3-camera shoot, and see if it could hold up to that. Because again, I like to break the rules. I like to push the boundaries. And so that's what I started with, just this goofy old Jane Fonda video. All right, so I tried it, and I used one of their characters. But you can see it. I mean, I didn't do anything else. I just plugged it in. It has a few things with the kicks, but you can see a little bit of the hair doesn't quite come out, and it's low res. I mean, it's like old standard definition. You know, see the little weird things with the kicks, colors off a little or whatever. But I mean, for what it's doing, and again, we are still in beta. I am blown away by that. I get another one here where I added several characters along the timeline. The same video source.
And in another 6 months, it's going to be perfect.
Well, and that's the thing. That's how fast this is all developing. So here we got this character in here. Then it goes to that character. And you can change characters along the timeline, which is kind of nice. So I just did a couple shots with different characters. You know, there's our toaster bot or whatever he's called. But yeah, it's pretty impressive. The shadows and everything retain from the original. But yeah, pretty well. Okay, so what does Jeff do? He takes it out and tries to do other things with it. So I did. Let's see, where is it? Here's my clip scene. I did this scene from Terminator. I wanted to see, okay, how good does it work? So I wanted to try to replace the Terminator with a character, and it got really confused because of the smoke and everything. And so this is the original. Obviously, everybody remembers this. One of my all-time favorite movies. But it goes through this opening scene where he goes up these punks, and we got a little Arnold butt there. But these punks, and so it got confused because I didn't assign different characters throughout the shot. I just let this run, and I only tagged Arnold as the character to replace. So it got a little confused, and it's quite hilarious here. So let me show you the results here. This is why AI isn't going to take anyone's jobs anytime soon. So, okay. Okay, so it didn't recognize this part of the scene at all till the very end, and then it throws a little robot in there, and then it doesn't even see. It didn't even get rid of him. It just stuck the robot in on top of him, so it didn't quite get rid of him. I mean, I could go back in and clean it up, But I just ran it raw, let it do its thing. There's him looking around. But that's pretty cool, though, that robot. They matched that. This one, they did a good job in this one. Got most of it. You can see a little ghosting around his head there. But it did a good job until it gets about so far, and then it gets confused. And it may have seen Arnold's butt, and you go, "Whoa, no!" So I did that. I don't know why. AI, and this is where it gets confused because it starts looking at other people and starts adding more robots in here. So these punks. Then Arnold comes in. There he is walking. But that was pretty cool. Then they got this dude as a robot now, and he's actually one of the punks. So it got confused there. And there's Arnold. See the ghosting around his shoulders and head and everything there. Then he just pops in. And he's saying, "Give me your clothes." And then it goes back to this guy. I didn't ask it to make him, but you can see there's some other stuff going on back there. It didn't quite clone out. And then it replaces some other guy with the robot guy. That one's pretty good. But there's, just pops in and out a scene. So it gets a little confused sometimes. But overall, again, I try to break everything. I buy something, I break it. So that didn't quite work. Another one that did work, let me see. Oh, this one here didn't work either. Let me see. I did this one. Again, trying to break shit. So this one here. Whoops, that's the wrong one. Hang on a sec. Clips. I took some clips from a movie trailer from Miss Congeniality, Sandra Bullock, because I wanted to see, there's one character that does have mouth and facial stuff that will respond. So I wanted to see if I could get it to, speak her lines or move with her face. That's why I picked this one. But it just got way confused. It just didn't know what to do with what I gave it. So let me show it here. And so, well, it doesn't know what to do there. A little bit, added another one in there for some reason. I don't know why she's in there. But her mouth did match. Her mouth is matching what she's saying. So it does kind of good. But anyway, I again, garbage in is garbage out. I took, some really crazy stuff.
Was that William Shatner?
Yeah, he was in that movie.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's actually a funny movie. So, and then let me see. My last one was this one. Come on, give me here. This is one of those crazy viral videos of this guy showing different kinds of walks, how different people do walks, and I wanted to see how it would manage this. And I didn't do any other editing other than say just copy what this guy's doing. So now you can see what this guy's doing. He's doing all these crazy things, all these different kinds of walks. I plugged this video in, and it gave me this. I picked this professor dude that is an option to put in there. He kind of looks like the guy, actually. Let's let it load up here, and I'll play it back full screen for you. So other than he scoots back when it goes between cuts sometimes, it really did a pretty decent job. You can see it's blurry around him where it blurred out the other guy. But I mean, overall, holy crap, for mocap, I mean, that's really what it's doing. I could do this and export the mocap data, and you could plug that into any 3D.
So basically, this may replace mocap because AI is doing it all for you. You just simply film a regular actor acting and then put in your
or anybody. You can just go out with your iPhone, capture the movements of your fellow animators like Disney did in the early days. They studied themselves. They'd shoot each other on film and then study the motions, and that's how they came up with all those amazing Disney animations, cell animations. But yeah, you could do that, but you could use that as your mocap reference. So, like, let's go back to the let me go back to the Jane Fonda one because I did export all of that info. So my output tests, I've got, it gave me here, I'll show you this. It gave me alpha mats for everything. So I've got single frame alphas for all of this stuff. And that's what it did. That's the removal process that it took. Then it's also got clean plates, which means it's just there's with Jane removed. I've got clean plates every single frame. Then it also has, let me see, number 2. This is what I sent you to play with. So it's got full scene files for Blender. And then the pose has all of its, all the mocap data. So if you can import mocap data into your 3D, then you can output the mocap data that it captures here and utilize it. So yeah, it is witchcraft. So anyway, that's all pretty exciting stuff to me, I think. So I don't know as far as making your own models. I haven't read up on that much or anything, but I guess if you're good at making models and doing rigging and have a model that you could export, then it might be able to take it in. So if I did this and I went to select a model, it does have a place here to enter the name of your character. You will be asked to upload a model and texture afterwards.
Right.
So if you have a rigged model already, I don't know what kind. Here we go. Character creation guidelines.
It'll probably have its own rigging tools based in the AI program where you tell it where the
might, but
are. Yeah.
But it's right here. Meet these. So here you got Maya, Blender. All of it. Here's your download your characters, all of this stuff. So I guess Maya and Blender are the only two things they have compatible right now. But you know, I know Steve, you're a Blender guy, so that would be great.
Isn't that interesting now that everything is going to Maya Blender? What it used to be Maya.
That is. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Blender's kicking ass. So
yes, it is getting better.
As you well know. But anyway, so there is information there that if you get into the beta, you can have some fun. And I hope that some of you guys do, so that you can go in there and make some cool stuff to share with everybody, because that would just be really cool. So, yeah, right now there's a limit. These are all coming soon. They don't exist yet. All these look a lot of the same, these alien looking dudes here. But these are the ones that are available now just for demoing. So anyway, that's the Wonder Dynamics thing. The other one I was going to show is, hang on a second. Let me get back to my notes. I got thrown off with the whole 11 Labs and not being able to hear audio. Hopefully you can find out if that's something they can do in the future, because
I was looking into the preferences in here to see if there was something that
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't find anything. You didn't find anything either, did you?
No, it usually should be a button that says play system audio,
That's exactly correct.
Yeah. So, and it doesn't, unfortunately. Let me see here. I've got the hang on just a second. I've got something else I can pull out here.
You have on a headset, so I have a standalone microphone, so I can put it close to the speaker and pull it in that way.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it doesn't. Yeah, that's not really great.
I know.
Another tool that everybody's talking about is Runway. That is an AI app too. So let me see if I can pull that up.
Yeah, put that link. Runway.
Okay, let me log in.
And then give that to me in the private chat.
Okay. Okay, let me do this. Real quick. Let me get this copied and pasted for you here.
All right.
Copy, go back to here. Private chat. Paste. There you go.
Thank you.
Okay, so Runway is another AI tool. It's kind of cool. There's some different things you can do. Video to video and image creation, frame interpolation. It has some background removal tools like green screening type tools. They aren't really green screen. They just remove backgrounds. I'll click on some of these so you can see some of these examples. I have a few examples I've done too that I can share. Let's see. These are some of my demos. Let's go to. I thought there was some demo stuff. Let me go back to the front here. So I'll just show you some of these things. Ah, man, this is trying to get me into developing. I wanted to get to the training. Let me see where let's see if there's some templates here. This does all kinds of stuff. So it generates a lot of different kinds of AI, including text. It does actual text. So, so if you wanted to use something like this, but you want to replace your assets and your text and everything, you can customize it. You can put your own imagery in there, of course. So it does some general video editing as well as, the really special effects stuff too. It's pretty remarkable. But it's some of the stuff I've noticed is still a little wonky. It's kind of cool, but it's also wonky. Like, well, I can go back to, oh, why did it take me out of there? It logged me out. Oh, no, here it is, because it took me out of there. There we go. Okay. So if I go back to my projects, let me go in here. You can see what I started with. I started with their one of their demo assets, which is this one here. Has to load. I'm on Starlink, so you can blame Elon Musk if my connection's slow. I blame him for everything these days. Okay, so this is just a stock face shot that they have in their demos here. And I use that as a basis to try some of these other things in here. So I tried some other elements. Okay, that's my demo assets. Stop, please. There we go. Go back. Oh. So I just tried a few different looks that were their stock looks in there. And some of these, let me see if it'll come up. You tell it what you want. And this was supposed to be a, let me see, which one was this? It doesn't give you the names. It only does a certain length. It only does 5 seconds, by the way, because it's still beta. but it took that as a source image. So all the motion is there. I think this one is like a claymation effect. Well, it doesn't really look like anything. Obviously, it doesn't look like her. So, so that's kind of crazy. There's another one, which is street portrait, sketchy type effect. These are all pre-rendered here. Another one that's paint, street portrait. Come on, play. I mean, some of them are pretty cool, but it's all still in development. You know, it's still a little bit of craziness here. There's another one. Let me just back this up here and go back here. That one was kind of cool. It's kind of a paper cutout. That one still kind of maintains a little bit of the original feel anyway, but it's a paper cutout. It's buffering here. Let me get rid of some of these. Maybe it's trying to look at all of them at the same time. That may be why it's, yeah. Yeah, it's still a little bit sketchy here because it's trying to load up. There's another one that was this is supposed to be like Pixar 3D style. See if it'll play through. It's kind of weird because it's got this goofy face. And this one was like a Disney style. Come on. Classic Disney animation style. Doesn't look anything like the subject, but the shapes and colors and textures kind of feel like something. I don't know if this has any morph tools built in. I haven't played with it that much, really. I did a few tests like this, tried a few things. I did one of my dog yawning and tried a few effects on it. And it didn't really work that well. So I kind of quit playing with it because I got busy. I had real work to do too. So this is my spare time waster. But I did some sketch things with it. Let me see if any of these worked out. This one kind of has a sketch effect, but it's a little wonky. So yeah, anyway, that's why I didn't make this one of my major demo things because I didn't have enough to show of it, but I just wanted to share it with you so you can go and play with it. I think this beta, you can get in a little quicker than the Wonder Studio. I think you can get in usually within 72 hours. They let you in if you go there. I did give you the, I gave you the link. Okay, so you have the link for that. So let's see here if I've got any pre-recorded stuff here. Let me see if this may play better off my hard drive. There we go. That's a little better. That's the paper cutout. And you can see the people kind of moving in the background too here. Let me make this a little bigger so you can see it easier. That's kind of cool.
So are these AI generator taking its references from actors?
Yeah, they're using this video as the source, and they're only giving you five seconds because it's data. So it's only giving you the first 5 seconds of whatever you give it. So it's using that as the source video. So and like the
So Thomas says that he got in 5 minutes.
Oh, good. They're letting people in pretty quick now. So yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, go have fun, play with that one. That's a cool one too. So that's that one's been out for a little while and people have been playing with it. I just haven't had time to really mess with it. And I hope to here in the next couple months because I got to write about it. So I better learn it more. So we got enough time where I can share a couple things that
Yeah.
from the movie that I worked on, some
Oh yeah.
special effects that I worked on. So let me see if I can. Oh, I think I've already got it loaded here. Got it in Premiere. Yes. So okay. So again, this is classified. Please don't share the video or anything with anybody. So some of these things are unused. And let me see here. Let me just turn my audio off here. Mute it. Okay. So this was a scene where they wanted me to add something to it. Why is that not muting? I'm muted. There we go. They wanted me to add some motion graphics here. So those are my notes. It's a part of the movie it supports the audio, but you don't need to hear that. But what they wanted papers to shoot out of the windows like a cannon. There's a cannon shot and everything. So I had to figure out how to do that. So I did almost everything in After Effects, but I did some Cinema 4D too. So I did that shot, which gets cut into the movie. So this is what my shot ended up like. Cannon shot, all these papers come flying back at the follow cam.
Great.
So
job.
that was that got left into the movie, thankfully. So you work on stuff for a while and then stuff gets cut. That's how movies are made. Like this one here, this whole scene got cut, unfortunately. But they left. We did something different to it because again, the movie, when you get editing, it's like, oh, it's 20 minutes too long, and now it's 10 minutes too long. They have to keep cutting. So sometimes these shots get cut. So the whole premise here is them getting a Grammy nomination here. So all the different nominations they got. I animated this on Cinema 4D as well. And then composited in After Effects, and they drive by it. So the year they won, they weren't at the Grammys. So so that's the whole story. They were on the road and they won a Grammy. So the one year they didn't go, they won a Grammy. But it got cut. They just basically said they got a Grammy for this, and the car drives by, and that's it. So that whole thing, and I did like 20 variations on that. But anyway, another one where they wanted this is a shot where the car drives by, and the gear case, they wanted it to shake. So I had to pull that out. In here, I had to actually remove it from the scene so I could change the shadows, move the case, move some gravel as it blows by, and add a little bit of dust. There's a dust layer there too that gets added as it drives by. So I had to add all.
So your orientation point for the box is like in the top right corner?
Yeah, it's actually centered. I centered it. It's actually centered here. So it's wobbling in a few different directions.
Okay.
So, but that's just all done in After Effects. I didn't do any Cinema 4D on this one.
Okay.
And then this one, if you watched, this was their second movie, I think, that this scene was in. And I got muted on my side here. And this car goes by. And they're out in the desert and they're in the car with somebody in current day. And they wanted that car to go through that scene. So that was the trickier composite shot, having to put the modern and have it work. So here's the original car here.
Right.
And here's the now car. Had to line it up so the tracks all went in the same place. and that's them driving by themselves in the past. So because they're in the car. So anyway, that's a gag shot. That I think that still made it into the movie. And then finally, I just, again, with roto and cleanup, 90% of the visual effects are stuff you'll never see. Like there's somebody in the background you have to remove. They're driving in a car and you have to remove a sign or a car that's driving by. There's just tons of removal stuff. You see their little ear set piece wire hanging down. You got to remove that. There's times where they're in the car together and they want to use it 2 different takes. Okay, we like this take of Cheech, put him next to Tommy in the car. So tons of that kind of stuff. You'll never see it. So I'd say 90% of my visual effects is cleanup. So in this case, it's like one of the last scenes in the movie. They wanted me to clean up this side of the building, get rid of the phone booth and the crap, get rid of these mailboxes, and get rid of these power lines in the sky and add some clouds. So I used AI to generate a nice cloud formation for me and cleaned up everything. And this is what I ended up with. This has a color on it too. So, oh yeah, and added glow scrub through here. So that just gave it a nice little touch. So anyway, that's a lot of the type of stuff that I did for this film, and how I used AI in various ways to help me do my job. So that's all I got right now. So if you guys want to see anything more,
man, that was fabulous. That's great. Wasn't that great?
I'm sorry I couldn't share that. The text to speech thing is really cool, but if you go to 11 Labs, you can try it out yourself. Because I got some great examples of some of the stuff I cloned and whatnot. It's really cool. But
so
anyway,
Magnossens mentioned what AI did you use to generate clouds?
I used Midjourney. I just said, give me some, wispy clouds at sunset, something like that. I just put it in until I found one that I thought would look good and match the same angle and focal point that I wanted. I made it big and then just took it into After Effects and slid it across the screw. That's pretty much it. Just did a take. Yeah. So a lot of the stuff I go back and forth between After Effects and Photoshop. I mean, obviously, I've been doing that for a while. So since I've been doing that since the 90s. And where's my camera? Here we go. After Effects and Photoshop, they go together. So, but this book's been out of print for a while now. I think the last time it was in print was, I think 2002 or something like that. But anyway, I'm bouncing back and forth between the two all the time. Which paid AI service do you feel are really worth this? Obviously Midjourney. I will pay for Midjourney for sure. And Rimini Web, I have to use that. So, and yeah, Midjourney I think is $30 a month. The subscription I get, it's almost unlimited. I mean, you can pay I think $50 or $100 for unlimited, but I don't generate that much content.
And are you able to tell it the generate a particular image size with the paid subscription?
You can up-res it to a certain point. I can't remember what the actual highest res that it pumps out. I think it's 4,800 pixels. Okay. But then you can always take it from there and up-res it more in Topaz or Photoshop or something. Upscale it more. Let's see. Can you get rid of text double images out of focus using Topaz? Text double images? I'm not quite sure.
Let's see, text. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what that means. So auto matters. Maybe you can rephrase
What do you
that.
mean by text double images? I mean text that's out of focus? I don't think so. I think it only does, um, people, places, things like that. I don't think it sharpens text for you. What I typically do is I'll clone out the text and put my own in. So that's what I have to do all the time, actually. So because we get a lot of crap at work that is low res. I found this off the internet. We want it to say this. I'm just So but it's something they can use. It's so and so's science lab, and they said we could use that photo, but it's like some little web image, and you got to really beat the beast, to try to get something out of it. So
does anybody else have any questions? There's time to ask it before Jeff is gone.
Gone but not forgotten.
Forgotten. No more. Come on, there's got to be some questions out there. Was he that good?
Or was I that boring?
No, you weren't boring at all. This is a lot of fun.
This is a lot of fun. I obviously I have a lot of fun of this because I do so much of it in my spare time. Oh, didn't see that question the first time. 3D mesh and wireframe. Not that I know of yet. So far, the only 3D data I've seen generated by AI has been, like I said, motion tracking data.
Yeah, there is something out there. I've been seeing promotions for it.
I know there's iPhone app. In fact, I've got it. It is that is see, is that Move or Luma? I think it's Luma AI, and that is something that you just take a picture of something with your phone. You can walk all around it, and it scans it. So it will create a 3D object for you. I think that will save out as a mesh for AR or other.
So what motion tracker did you use, and can you apply that? And can you apply in 3D?
Again, the only motion tracker that I've played with was what I showed you with Wonder, the Wonder Studio. Okay. So yeah, where did I close that window? Didn't I?
So Pixelado says actually not the mesh, but a stylized image that looks like it was drawn in wireframe.
Oh, a wireframe type thing. Yeah, I guess yeah, you can ask for it. Let me go back to my. Let's see. Oops. Let me get back in here. Okay, so let me go here. And what do you want to see a wireframe of? What's the object you want to see? Because I can tell it to do a wireframe. You want it like it.
That question's for Pixelado here. Let's
try a bike. Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
Mac Nonsense says Bugs Bunny. Could be worse. It could be Mickey Mouse.
How about Bugs Bunny on a bike? Okay. We'll see what it comes out. Let's see what happens. Again, you don't know. You don't always get what you ask for. You don't always get what you want.
That's right.
You get what you need. But I've done some cool stuff like Tron stuff, like in the style of Tron and whatnot.
You,
Um,
you get what it thinks you need.
in jail in Florida. That's funny. Yeah, because that's that cartoon of Bugs Bunny cutting Florida off the map and it floats away. It's getting close.
Should photographers and other artists have a way to improve that, to prove that work is original rather than all or part AI? Opinion.
I think that well, obviously we've heard this actually worked pretty cool. It's not really Bugs Bunny, but it's pretty freaking cool. I think there on that question, that is very topical because I know that there's been a few photo competitions that have been discovered that the artist used AI to create their photos.
And I'm part of one. I'm part of the largest. I'm one of the judges for one of the largest photo exhibitions in the country. And yes, they had to submit thumbnails of images that prove that was not generated by AI.
Right. Because I know metadata can be manipulated too and stuff like that. So you can't just go by metadata. But, they've had to do that for a long time. I mean, for the last 30 years, we've had to prove that we took an image and it wasn't enhanced by Photoshop or something, to a certain point. It's just like journalists have always had to prove that anything they do is just toning or cleanup of an image if they're going to publish it as newsworthy journalism. But it, so there's very minimal retouching. There could be cropping and there could be toning, but you can't go in and say like remove somebody or do something crazy. So you have to be able to show your work and prove it because the publication is liable at that point. So yeah, I'm not sure that I'm not sure there's AI that can fix what you're talking about there, Automatters. And Pixelot. Yeah, that does kind of help you look at your meshes. How would you break something down? So that's a lot of polygons though.
Yeah.
That would take forever to render. This one's probably a little closer. These are like crazy. Beautiful, but holy crap, you need a monster computer to push that puppy through. Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. Well, it'd be cool if we could actually export that data. I mean, it's only a matter of time, guys. I bet you before the end of the year, somebody's going to have something that will take something like that.
I think
spit it out.
I think there's something already out there.
I'm sure there's stuff in development already.
Yeah,
I'm sure. Yeah. Oh, Thomas. Yeah, that's something. That's something. I don't know. I know there's something Adobe is trying to build into Firefly, but I know that people are dealing with that with ChatGPT and everything too. There are some detectors out there. So
and they're not accurate because they did a test for ChatGPT to auto detect plagiarism, and one student was flagged as using AI when she didn't.
Yeah.
So they got to be careful with that.
So it's a dangerous world actually in that regard. But it's the Wild West now. So
well, I think our time is up. God, this is great.
Well, good deal.
Really enjoyed.
I'm glad you guys got a lot out of this. So it's fun to do.
And we will have this ready for the Photoshop Users Group members. Will receive this recording. If you guys are a member on my Twitch page, which is actually where you're at now, it's like $4 a month. You get access to all the video, all the educational content that's on there. So you might like to consider that. Otherwise, this video will go out to Photoshop Users Group members. Yes, thank you. You're all very, very welcome. So Pixelato said good stuff.
Thanks.
Yeah, Pixelato Kevin is one of our professional, industry professional 3D animators and modelers.
Oh,
He uses
cool.
Lightwave mostly.
Wow. Okay. Haven't heard of that one for a while.
So
That's wild.
it was just bought out by another company that intends to
Oh.
revive it. So I'm kind of looking forward to
Cool.
it.
All right.
David Glenn's another Advid 3D. I think he's a Maya user.
Well, there's no Strata 3D people here.
Oh no. You don't talk to us about Strata. IB Wizard helps me run the Photoshop users group, which is what this meeting is for.
Cool.
Who this meeting is for. Maui, Blue Sky from Hawaii. Welcome and
Awesome.
Thank you. All right,
Aloha.
This is fantastic. Let's see. We've got let's see. You've doubled my knowledge of AI. Yeah. It's a lot out there.
Yeah, and it's going to double again in a month. So you just keep at it. Yeah. Please don't share the video link with people outside of our group here.
Yeah.
Because that stuff is still under wraps. The movie is still finishing right now. So it's done with development, but it's in finishing. So it hasn't been announced or released anywhere. So I appreciate if you keep that under wraps. Okay.
All right.
So anyway, it's been great. Thank you all for your time. And thanks for inviting me. Yeah. Had a good time.
Welcome. And the double compute.
Yeah.
Great.
Doesn't take much. Oh.